The Tush-Push lives. The Tush-Push will not be banned. The crybabies and whining, complaining fans and teams, owners, GMs don't get their way. And I gotta say, I'm embarrassed for people that want to ban the Tush-Push. I really am. And that might offend some people. I'm sorry if it does. But this is a weak, soft move. The confines of the rules are what the Eagles have been working within. Within the confines of the rules, they mastered a play that anybody had a chance to master. And they became experts at the play. And because other teams couldn't do it, they whined and complained like babies. Well, guess what? Roger Goodell doesn't get his way. I'm sure he strong-armed a lot of teams, but roughly 9 to 10 teams, they say, were in favor of not banning the Tush-Push. The Lions, congrats to the Lions. Every team that was in favor of not banning it, congratulations. The Lions, the Patriots, the Jets, the Ravens, those are all teams that were mentioned. I am embarrassed for teams and people who wanted to ban the Tush-Push. Hear me now. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Imagine being in a state of panic and crying and complaining because your team can't do the Tush-Push. Or imagine being a team, an organization that says, can we do this? And when they can't, they want to ban it. I bet you anything, 50% if not 70% of the teams that voted to ban the Tush-Push tried to implement the play themselves and failed. Or they at least tried, even if they were semi-successful with it. They tried to implement it at one time or another. How hypocritical. Well, it's not getting banned. It's not getting banned. It's here to stay.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
And I'm not an Eagles fan. I've got really no skin in this game other than a love for the game, a love for football, a love for players that score a lot of points. I'm not even the biggest Jalen Hurts fan right now comparatively to people that just look at him winning a Super Bowl and say, oh, he's the top 3 quarterback. He's not. And this would have been a very negative thing for his fantasy football value, would have impacted him greatly, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, it didn't get passed. They couldn't get enough teams to say, hey, we're going to whine and complain and get our little juice boxes out and our binky and cry and complain and be absolute scaredy cats because we can't implement the play the way the Eagles implement it. And then I know what some of you are going to say that are going to try and defend this. There'll be 3 or 4 of you in the chat that are going to say, if the defense was allowed to push back, it'd be okay. Or back in the day, they didn't do this or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I literally don't care. Right now, you've been living in a world where this was possible, where teams were able to do this because it's in the confines of today's rules. I don't want to hear about what they used to do back in the day. These are the rules. Every team had a chance to become an expert at this, a subject matter expert at tush-pushing, at brotherly shoving. But teams can't do it. When you can't do something, you look to ban it. This reminds me a lot of the Taysom Hill situation. Taysom Hill was a QB, right? Wrong. They put him in at tight end, at running back. He ended up playing tight end for a while. What did your boy Smitty come out and say? Go draft Taysom Hill at the very end of your draft because we're smart. We know what time it is. We're going to strategically draft him as a tight end, knowing that the quarterback position might become available for him, and he's going to go into the QB position, score quarterback points as a tight end because he'd be positioned. He's dual, I think triple position eligible that year. What happened? One person, think about it logically, one person in each league, only one person can own him. That means that one person out of 12 is going to be happy about Taysom Hill being eligible to still play tight end and quarterback at the same time. So what happened? 11 crybabies went to ESPN in each and individual league. 11 crybabies, maybe 2 or 3 didn't, okay? 2 or 3 people said, no, none of that. I don't want that. But when 11 crybabies in every single league go to ESPN and say, Taysom Hill, I didn't think of that. I can't do that, so take it away from him. That's what it reminds me of. This reminds me of people crying and complaining that they can't do something that's in the confines of the rules. I don't care about your history. It used to not be in the rules. Where were you when they changed the rule? Were you sitting there going, oh, this shouldn't be changed. It's always been this way. You didn't care. Just because a team uses the confines of the rules and they're an expert, a subject matter expert in something, now all of a sudden you're preaching, oh, well, it used to be this, it used to be that. Doesn't matter. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Well, guess what? It lives.
Mashed potatoes!
I don't even care. I don't have skin in this game. I'm not an Eagle fan at all. I don't care if this put my team to bed and I lose a Super Bowl over it. I still am in favor of the unbiased side of things. Jalen Hurts, since he's been starting in this league, let me see if I can put this on screen here. Hold on. We've got a bunch of players that I don't want to delete because we might need to reference this board again exactly the way they're laid out. So let me put these guys away. Jalen Hurts, since starting in the NFL, 2021, 10 TDs, 2022, 13 TDs, 2023, 15 TDs, 2024, a little down tick to 14 TDs. Had this gone through, and the Tush-Push would have been banned, I still think he would have flirted with 10 to 11. Because they're still going to quarterback sneak it. They're still going to sneak it very well. He can still squat 600 pounds. They can't take that away from him. Can you imagine if they walked into the gym and said, hey, you know what? I think we should take away the weights from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is no longer allowed to squat and lift weights in the weight room because it's unfair. Because we're a bunch of babies. That's what it feels like. It feels like that's what the NFL is becoming. 10 TDs would have been his mark anyway, because this 600-pound squatting man, Jalen Hurts, would have still found a way to plunge in from 3 yards out to get a first down with 2.5 yards to go. That it would have still happened. Would they be plunging from 3 yards? And maybe I'm exaggerating on 2 yards, but at least 1 yard. Anything within 1 yard, they're still doing it. They're still doing some sort of maneuver, and they're going to try and work within the confines of the rules. He still would have had 9 or 10 touchdowns, but this is a 15 potential touchdown guy. With the Tush-Push, he could get anywhere between 14 and like 17 touchdowns on a season at any one moment. 14 to 17 any given season with the Tush-Push. Without it, 10. So it is impacting. It doesn't take him away from fantasy football top 5, 6, 7 quarterback scoring, but it might take him out of the top 4 because he doesn't throw a lot and he struggled throwing the ball. See, as you can tell, I'm not even a huge Jalen Hurts supporter right now. I'm not sitting here going, this guy's a great quarterback right now. He played very badly last year. He threw for a very low amount of yards, touchdowns, and passing stats that concern me. And when I see A.J. Brown complaining on the sideline all year, last year, and I see Jalen Hurts struggle to throw the ball, and I see Barkley get 430-plus carries total on the year, 470-plus total touches on the year, and I worry about Barkley getting hurt, and then the Madden cover talk and all that, yeah, you could say it's BS or whatever, but the bottom line is Barkley goes down this year, if he goes down this year, and I think there's a very strong chance he misses a grip of games. It's just the historical data doesn't necessarily lie unless it's Derrick Henry. You get 470 touches, 430 plus carries. The curse to get injured is 371 carries. You get that, you're almost done. Very few running backs even return to form ever after 371 carries. That doesn't just break them the next year. Sometimes they never, ever, most of the time, never return to form. It breaks their career. And not 371. No, he had 430 plus carries on the year. He surpassed this number by an extreme amount. My point being that I'm worried about Jalen Hurts. I'm not in here trying to take sides in favor of Hurts. I think Hurts could be in a situation where he still is top 5 because of this rushing totals, but the passing stuff concerns me. If Barkley went down, the Eagles could take a little step backwards in 2025. That's what I predicted when we did the records, and we'll still go through everybody else's record. Don't you worry. We're still going to attack everything. Let me see if I have it somewhere here. I just don't have a button for it, so I got to go through another avenue. I think I got it right here. So I have the Eagles going 12-5. And honestly, even if we move this to 12-5 and this one to 11-6, however you want to work it, okay? This is a fun, optimistic look at it. We could definitely dial it back one game each if it makes people feel more comfortable about the probabilities. Like, relax and have a little fun, okay? But I do have the Eagles not winning the division. I think Barkley misses a grip of games. I don't think I'm making wild guesses, throwing mud at the wall. I believe this is a very logical thing to say and suggest and predict. Why? Because it is. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are very staggering. Point is, Jalen Hurts needs this tush-push more than anything. The Eagles need it more than anything right now. This does salvage a lot of the concerns. This makes them a team that can still win the division. But had they taken this away, if there was no tush-push, the Eagles would have dropped another game in my prediction. I would have put them at 10. Go back to that. Or I'm sorry, I would have put them at I would have put the Eagles at 11. I'm sorry. 11 wins instead of 12 had the tush-push been taken away. I think that's how strongly tied their success is. But that doesn't mean you strip it from them. Just because they're good at something, just because their identity does kind of lean upon something, you don't go out there and take it away. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Have some courage. Don't be... These teams are cowards. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Suns are up by 11. Just like I thought they would.
It's just a voicemail.
No, you're right, Smitty. Birdie sucks. You're right. I saw it the other day. I watched the old shows. But yeah, Purdy sucks.
Denny taking it out on Purdy. Purdy catching strays. And for anybody wondering why I keep playing that, I'm just testing the audio for the phone line. And so I got to see the volume coming in. So it's not that I'm trying to continue to rip on Purdy there. That's my favorite voicemail of all time. And whenever I need to test audio, I don't know about you guys, regardless of the content, is that one of the most beautiful voices you've ever heard. And when I need to test the phone line, I'm using that voicemail every time. Every time.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Every time. Phone lines are open. Dial in. I dropped a video earlier. I hate when YouTube doesn't send out the notifications, and that's one thing that's really kind of a downer about creating video uploads, is it alerts everybody about the video upload. I dropped it at 5 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Eastern, and now it's what? Almost 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and the alerts are still not going out. Like, that's not spaced out enough. I wish there was a button on YouTube that said No, really, send me all the alerts. Now, for those of you that haven't hit the bell notification and turned on alerts, make sure you do that. But I also have my Patreon where I announce every time I go live. And then on my Instagram stories, I'll always make sure you turn on notifications on my Instagram profile. You just go to my profile, turn them on. I believe you click on, I forget what it is, but turn on your notifications on my Instagram profile. Turn on story notifications. I put a link up in a link in a photo. This photo right here is in my stories saying I'm going live right now. So you'll never miss a live stream if you're on the Patreon or you're over there. And on my Instagram profile, there's those little circles underneath my profile. It says channels, and if you can join my free when Smitty's going live alert channel, you'll get all the alerts. Bruce, you're live.
Hey, I'm kind of glad that they kept it the way it is, and
Yes.
yeah, I can kind of say that I can totally believe Hurts is going to finish in the top 5 to 10. I don't think he was if they banned it.
Yep, I think he fell out of 5. I think he's in the 5 to 10 no matter what, but I think he's in the top 5 or right around there for sure. 3 to 5, 3 to 7. I mean, there's so many good quarterbacks this year, and Penix Jr. could slip into the top 6. Kyler, Dak Prescott, like there's so many potentially potent situations. So yeah, I wouldn't even lock Hurts into 4 even with the Tush-Push because it's possible. He doesn't throw enough that if he has a down year at all running the ball or gets hurt and misses a couple games, he's toast in terms of trying to catch people with his passing attack. But this is great news for Jalen Hurts. Keeps him alive in the top 4 conversation for quarterback 2025 from a fantasy perspective. But yeah, it's crazy, man. People are just, it's weak, man. It's weak. It's soft. It's soft. And the arguments against the Tush-Push are weak and soft. Like, oh, back in the day, they used to not be able to. I don't care. As Tony Soprano said, the most boring form of conversations, remember when? Remember when? Remember when the rules were, where were you when they changed the rules to allowing pulling and pushing of a player? You weren't anywhere. Complainer, you weren't anywhere. Now you're here because your team can't stop the Tush-Push. And I guarantee you, if your team could do it, you wouldn't be all upset about it. And for any team that's voting against the Tush-Push, this goes for the Cardinals, this goes for anybody. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Every team that was against it, you should be ashamed of yourself because you're going and complaining and you're ratting out a team that's doing something. You're crying and complaining to the commissioner, just like people did when Taysom Hill was scoring quarterback points at the tight end position. It's cheating because I can't do it. Every team that voted against it, I guarantee, tried it. They tried it. If they could do it, they wouldn't be a party to this nonsense. But because they couldn't implement it, they're babies. They're soft.
Yeah.
Fields.
Yeah.
Fields looks great. He looks great. Fields looks great right now. I love Travis Hunter. All the negative stuff about Travis Hunter running a little better route today, and everyone's like, oh. It's like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? What's this world coming to? It's soft. It is so soft.
It is soft. It is soft.
It's crazy.
What do you think of Breece Hall or Chase Brown in the 4th round?
Rotate it. I'd rotate it. I want one share of each if I've got 2 different leagues in the same spot. If I had one decision to make, I pick Breece Hall.
Okay.
All right, Brucey, call back if you got another one. Appreciate you, bro.
Oh, I got one more.
All right, hit me with it.
Lamar or Hurts?
I think I probably lean toward Lamar, even though I believe Lamar. I believe Lamar could get banged up this year. You can call it guesswork all you want. There's numerous years where he's disappointing, and in less years where he's been strong all year long. I probably still lean Lamar. I think Hurts has some possibilities of getting banged up too. He continues to suffer injuries, and this Tush-Push might cause some of those injuries. They're choosing to do it. You don't ban something because the team might be injuring their players either. That is not an excuse. So if anybody thinks so, Smitty, you just said Hurts might be getting banged up from it. That's on them. That's on them. But he's playing injured, and Sirianni, like I would say, like Shanahan, they're probably the two hardest coaches to ever trust with anything. The information about injuries, Sirianni wouldn't tell you if Jalen Hurts, was in a coma walking into Sunday's game. He'd be like, "Hey, is Jalen Hurts okay?" "Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. He'll be out there." These are two coaches you cannot trust with injuries. You can't. They won't tell you a single thing if they don't need to. They will go to the ends of the earth not to tell you. So, Jalen Hurts could get banged up. He plays injured every year. We don't hear about the injuries till later. Sometimes we don't hear about them at all. So, Jalen Hurts and Lamar both have a lot of concern to get banged up. But every quarterback does this, scrambles. Every quarterback gets hurt. Joe Burrow's got hurt. Mahomes has gotten hurt. I mean, it's par for the course. So if I've got to pick between the two quarterbacks, they both have injury risk. They're both running quarterbacks. I'm going to take Lamar, who finished higher than Hurts. Hurts had kind of a down year at the end of the day. Fantasy-wise, he wasn't a top 4 quarterback last year. All right, Bruce, appreciate you. Call back when you got another one.
Yep.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Yeah, I just have I have bad feelings about the Lamar Hurts combo this year. There's a lot of mileage behind that. There's a lot of running. There's a lot of depending on the two players. It worked great last year. Think of how the Niners were injury-free in 2023. It didn't seem like, how did it all go about? How did they keep Trent Williams and Debo and Purdy and CMC all healthy? I mean, for the majority of the year, the Niners skated by. They had the best year avoiding injury. And it is hard to do that 2 years in a row. And what that even means from a prove it standpoint, Smitty, is that you have a plethora of games in a row where you get worn down and overworked too. So Derrick Henry and Lamar playing the way they did all year, it's like there's a workload breakdown. I'm not saying both get hurt, but I have a strong feeling that there's going to be some sort of major injury via Lamar or Henry, or just a grip of missed time because they're being abused. They're being overworked. They're the two sole contributors of what they did last year, and they got overworked. And Derrick Henry, being as old as he is, Lamar with the track record of disappointing, playing badly for half a season, or getting injured, one of the two is going to break. How long? I don't know. Could be 3 games. It might not be a big deal. And they still, grab a wild card spot, which, by the way, the announcement was also made that they're no longer going to try and change how the playoff seeding works. They were going to try and take away the division winners getting automatic playoff spots and then the 3 wild card spots. I'm glad they're keeping it the same. I'm glad. All right. Anybody else want to dial in and dig in on this conversation?
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I just think that this is great for football. It's great that the commissioner did not get his way on this day. It is great. It is great that the commissioner was not able to corrupt this situation on this day, because that's what was probably happening here. Strong arming. The thing that pisses me off about this commissioner, and the thing that pisses me off about how he's getting away with it and no one's saying anything, there's nobody stepping in front of him, there's no accountability at all, is this was going in the direction of getting voted down. And the commissioner pulled the process and the voting when it wasn't going his way because he didn't want it to conclude and have to be brought up next year. He paused it so he could reconvene on it and start over and strong arm and convince teams. And nobody said a word. No talking heads, no big people on ESPN. No one said anything. Instead, Goodell just said, okay, the vote's not going the way I wanted. And when people don't understand what I'm saying, they were already voting on it and discussing it like weeks and weeks ago. And the commissioner said this isn't going the way I want, pull the plug. Almost as if you're playing a video game back in the day, and when you're about to lose, if you unplugged the machine, it would save you and revert you back to where you were before you started that level, and you could play it over again without it resetting. That's what Goodell tried to do. He tried to pull the plug on the voting process because it wasn't going his way, and then he tried to strong-arm teams and reconvene. He got more votes. He got more people on board, but he didn't get enough, and now he fails. It's corrupt. Now, I'm one that defends that the NFL is not rigged. It's not rigged. It's got corruption involved, and it does start from the top down, in my opinion. In my opinion, there's not fact there. It's my opinion. But my opinion is this commissioner is not a fair guy. And nobody does anything about it. Nobody says anything about it. Nobody on ESPN's running their mouth about it. They just all sit back because guess what? Something's tied to it they're not allowed to. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. What else we got in the chat? Thank you, BB. I'm going to start pulling some of your messages on screen here. Travis Hunter slipped one time, so you know he's in trouble. Yeah, people are just wild. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Lamar had a monster year last year. Of course he did. We all know that. We do know that. Thank you for clarifying. Lamar doesn't take big hits. I hear this all the time too. Oh, he'll be fine. He doesn't take big hits. There's more to it than what I said about getting hurt. There's also just disappointing, years and not coming together. If Derrick Henry gets hurt, he's back to where he was before this year, where he didn't have the support. The reason Lamar had the big year is because they did what I said they needed to do. They needed to bring in Derrick Henry, Jacobs, or Barkley. And if they did that, Lamar wouldn't have to put it all on his shoulders and fail for half a year or fold in the playoffs really early. They did exactly what they needed to do. But if Henry's going to have a tough time staying healthy, you could say, oh, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He's Henry. He's going to live forever. Eventually, that's not going to work. So if this is the year where Henry suffers injury, isn't able to look the same, loses that step, then Lamar's going to then in turn have some struggles. He doesn't create top 20 wide receivers. He never has, probably never will. Maybe one year he will, but he doesn't create consistent top 20 wide receivers. He doesn't create top 25 wide receivers. In fact, I think maybe Flowers was 25 this year. So he finally got someone to be number 25, depending on the scoring. But there's a lot more going on than, oh, Lamar's great. He had a great year. He finally had. Of course he did. We all know that. We all saw it. But he also hasn't been consistent before. So we'll see how that goes. I know there's a lot of Lamar people that get in their feelings when I say anything negative about Lamar at all, or that Lamar can't really close in the playoffs, and he didn't again. So, get mad all you want, but, and say, oh, you can't predict injury, over and over. That's fine. I don't really care when people tell me that. There's a lot of logic in guesstimating injury. It's not like I'm throwing a dart at the board. There's 23 years of evaluating different patterns and situations that go into this. It's not just me throwing a dart or mud at the wall. Go ahead, Bruce. You're live again.
I did have a stupid question, but who do you think would benefit most besides Hurts for doing the Tush-Push? Like what quarterback?
I mean, ideally Josh Allen, and they didn't deploy it well at all. They didn't know how to do it. Josh Allen probably is better suited than any other quarterback in the league except for Jalen Hurts to do the Tush-Push. He's a refrigerator out there, but they kept doing it over the center. They don't know what to do, bro. They have no idea. It's wild to me how and then what? You're just, because you can't do it, you don't want other teams to do it. It's stupid.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe a Jaden Daniels, maybe a Justin Fields.
Yeah, Fields is a big boy. Fields is much bigger than Jalen Hurts, believe it or not. It doesn't feel like that when you see him, but Jalen Hurts is 6'1", Fields is 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", in between. But yeah, I mean, Fields could be good at it. I don't know if they want to put him at risk, though, because if you don't know what you're doing with it, you could definitely hurt your quarterback. Not to mention, even if you know what you're doing with it, we don't even know how injured Hurts is getting from the Tush-Push, which is it's not what the commissioner's worried about. If anybody thinks, well, even more reason why to ban it, you're just trying to think of reasons. It's up to him. Somebody wants to skydive. You let him skydive. Could they get injured from it? Sure. There's usually kids that are 16, 17, 18 years old rolling the chutes up for everybody so they can get extra jumps in. And you want to go skydiving? I'll never forget when I went skydiving, and as I was walking to the plane, I saw this kid that was like 15, 16 rolling up my chute and handed it to me. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I don't get paid, but I get extra jumps if I roll up chutes after. And I'm like, this guy just rolled my chute up. This kid. This kid. But I still went. That's on me. Just because Hurts wants to do the Tush-Push, just because the Eagles want to deploy it, doesn't mean you take it away because Hurts is getting banged up. But make no mistake about it. It is an abusive thing to the quarterback. Even Travis Kelce, Travis Kelce and his brother were talking on the podcast together about it, so it was Travis Kelce too. But they were talking and they were discussing this, and I mean, it wasn't like they were defending it either, which was wild. When you hear Kelce talking about it, who retired, and he was the center of the Eagles, responsible for a big part of the Tush-Push, and they still deployed it perfectly. But Kelce was talking about it, and he said that people said that he retired because of it. He's like, I did retire because of it. That's a bunch of BS. But he said, let me answer the question. Do I think it should be banned or not? He's like, I don't really care. If they did, Jalen Hurts will still rush the ball at a very, very high rate. And even if he doesn't, rush as much, like, it's not a big deal to Kelce. Kelce didn't really think it was a big deal. That tells you something. That tells you that maybe it's hard. It's hard on their bodies. Otherwise, he'd be defending it like crazy, saying, no. Totally should be you should not get rid of it. This is ridiculous. He was like, I don't know. Because I don't think he loved it. I don't think anybody loves being at the bottom of a pile of 300-pound linemen, but it doesn't mean you ban it. Don't do it. You don't need to deploy it, but you don't take it away because you can't do it. That's cowardly.
Right.
Anything else, bro?
Yeah, yeah. No, I just wanted to see who you thought would benefit most besides Hurts.
I mean, nobody right now. That's why they want to ban it. I mean, look at the teams that didn't ban it. Lamar, the Ravens, he could run it, so they're interested in keeping it open probably. Fields, big boy, bigger than Jalen Hurts by a lot, and Jets might want to deploy it. Patriots, Drake May's a great running quarterback. The only team that I'm aware of right now, at least as the names come out, that didn't want to ban it, that can't run the ball, is the Lions, Jared Goff. So like that was a little shocking, but that's great. That's honest. That's an honest vote. We can't do the Tush-Push. We got Jared Goff, but we agree it shouldn't be banned because we can't do it. Like, good on the Eagle or good on the Lions for that.
Right. Oh, I found out how your boy Debo found me on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah.
My buddy is a professional fighter, and we've been really close since high school. Debo's his cousin.
Hey, get him on the show, bro. He knows me. He knows who I am. He knows who I am through the quad box.
Right.
Yeah, through the quad box. Say, hey, Smitty, Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show, and say the quad box. Tell him to get on here. I've talked to Debo before. So that wouldn't be a big deal. He's never come on the YouTube show, but I've talked to him on Clubhouse and Instagram and stuff. But tell him he doesn't really check his DMs anymore, so that's the only way I know how to get a hold of him. But if let him know. Say, Smitty, the Fantasy Football Show is on the Quad Box. Tell him we need him on here. All right, appreciate you, Bruce. We'll see you later, bro.
Yep.
You like how when Bruce tells me, he's got to connect, I don't question it. But if Gump says he knows Calvin Johnson, we just we just brush it off like it ain't no thing. Gumpy. Anyway. Allen telegraph his sneaks. Yeah, Allen was horrible at Tush-Push, bro. He couldn't brotherly shove nothing. Blackbeard, appreciate you, bro. Glad to see you in here. I got some mods in here doing their thing. Sim Valley loves Gump. If Sim Valley could buy Gump shares, like Gump stock, he would buy it in a heartbeat. Probably buy, 14, 15 shares right away. It didn't matter the opening price. He'd just take it. Sim Valley doesn't care if the stock goes down, Anyway, trying to see if there's any other news. There's a lot of news coming in. Bills are going to be featured on Hard Knocks. That's one piece of news. The playoff seating won't change. That is another piece of news. What else do we have here? A lot of stuff going down. The kickoff rule change where you could only do an onside kick in the fourth quarter. That is now changed. You can do it whenever you're down. You can declare an onside kick against the opposing team. That is a change that occurred. They're doing a lot of changes. Some of these things are really weird. 24 votes is a high bar. In this case, the votes were not there, so it stays the way it is. This is more stuff on the Tush-Push. Now, it's Roger Goodell like to be like, oh, we'll need to change the number of votes that are needed then. Goodell, nobody says anything. They just let him do whatever he wants. There's no accountability. They're going to give him more money, extensions. It's like, it's sickening to me. He's not a good commissioner. And I think everybody feels that way. And I don't know what it is about what he has on these teams to support him the way they do. Cam Ward looking good in practice today. Sanders, doing interviews, just looking the part right now, mentally, physically. Travis Hunter running some much cleaner routes today versus yesterday, according to all the negative Noahs. Running the same route he ran yesterday where he slipped. Looks perfect doing it. People are so wild. Just wild. Imagine thinking that somebody running a route wrong in one moment when the ball's not even, they slip and trip because the ball's not even where it needs to be anyway. People are crazy. Don't forget for those that don't know, we moved RJ Harvey to the top list possible, the Jupiter Men, opening up a 7 spot and moving a spot off of I think he was on the Saturn Men.
The Jupiter Men. Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit inside it. There are no bigger monsters than the Jupiter Men.
I don't know if we're gonna make one of the spots lower on the other board.
The Saturn Men.
So I moved them off this board.
Man, one giant leap for Saturn.
I'm not opposed to having a 6th person on here. I don't want to force it.
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
Oh, hold on.
The Saturn Men.
I got to take Harvey
small
off.
step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Spaceman. Spaceman.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
The Moon Men. Dropping loads in outer space.
We got a new gentleman to throw on screen, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna like this one. I already did a video on it. You guys saw it earlier today. We're gonna drop him on screen. Let me see if I can get his mug on screen here. I love this kid. Go watch the video if you haven't seen it already. You guys know who I'm going to put on screen, right? Any guesses? You saw the video this morning. We're going to put him on screen. He's going to be a midseason monster. Kind of deserves to be something bigger than a midseason monster, to be honest with you. Travis, appreciate you being in the building. Here he is. Krosky Merritt, he is a midseason monster. I love this list. This list is fantastic. It looks so potent. Let me see if I can minimize some of these guys that are a little bigger than the others around them. That way I can fit everybody on screen. I'll do a little adjusting of the presentation here, but this is such a great list of midseason monsters. Last year, I was happy with the end result. I forget how many we landed. It wasn't as many as I wanted on the midseason monster list. This one feels like we're going to smash the hell out of, these just look, this looks like just easy work. It looks like easy work. Little Bill down here. This is Little Bill for those that don't know. That's his nickname, Little Bill. Little Bill, a.k.a. Krosky Merritt. This guy is a monster. Jalen Milroe, the next Jalen Hurts. Better. He can be better than Jalen Hurts. Oh, my God, Smitty, did you just say that? Yeah, I did. Milton. I like Dak. You guys know how much I love Dak this year, but if this guy gets in there, and I think, there's a chance because Dak does get injured a lot. Jordan James and Garendo is the new Mason and Garendo. Mason over in Minnesota still a breakout. Sharps, Ray Davis, Tootin, and Bigsby together, and then Krosky Merritt. What a group. What a group. No final phone calls. I will be back. I'm live whenever news breaks like this video right here. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm live additionally at midnight Eastern most nights. Little Bill to the moon.
To the moon.
Little Bill to the moon. See you all later. Don't forget I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Additionally live whenever news breaks. Additionally live midnight Eastern. Sometimes 3 times a day. Tonight will be a 3-timer because I'll be live at 8 p.m. I'll be live at midnight. I'm live right now. And if there's more news that breaks, I'll be live again. That's how we roll. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. It's worked out pretty good so far. Don't forget also Patreon link in the live chat that I'm dropping right now. Links in the description of every video if you're watching the replay. $10 a month, cancel anytime. Live chat group. The live chat you see in the live chat right now on YouTube is the same group in here. 24/7, just sitting in there talking. So if you want in on that, jump in.